You believe in miracles, Vegas does. That's why they've got the Heat sitting at -1.5 like this is a foregone conclusion. But let me ask you this, you ever seen a 10 seed make the playoffs through the play-in? Because it's never happened. And you think Miami, a team that went 17-23 on the road, with a -0.9 net rating away from home, is about to walk into Atlanta and write history. That's the trap. Miami just lit up Chicago. Hero dropped 36. 6 other players hit double figures. They shot 54.5% from 3. Vegas saw it, you saw it, and now they're pricing that game like it's the rule, not the exception. But it was the exception. You bottle lightning once, maybe. Twice, that's delusion. Since March 1st, Miami's been middle of the league in efficiency differential, 15th. They allow 111.7 points per 100 possessions. Solid defense, yes. But they're not invincible. And Spoelstra's squad, outside the top 10 in made threes. Outside the top 10 in percentage. That 18 FOR 33 game was an anomaly, not a blueprint. And now you're asking them to repeat that on the road, against a team they beat just once in Miami. Nah. Meanwhile, Atlanta just got waxed by Orlando. Trae Young was ejected. The whole team flatlined. And that's the gift. Because what do smart bettors do? They fade the overreaction. And tonight, we fade it like pros. The Hawks are 32-29 straight up after a road loss under Quinn Snyder. They're also 17-15 straight up against teams with winning percentages between 40% and 49%. And you guessed it, Miami's right in that sweet spot. This isn't just about hero. It's about pace, where the Heat rank 28th and the Hawks rank 3rd. It's about offensive rebounding, where Atlanta holds a top 10 edge and Miami sits near the bottom. It's about Trae Young, averaging 11.6 assists, not just scoring, but pulling the strings. At home, in a bounce-back spot. In a building where Atlanta's gone 7-3 in their last 10. And don't forget the matchup. Hero torched the Bulls. But tonight, it's Dyson Daniels shadowing him, longer, quicker, smarter. And Bam's not bullying a Okongwu either. The Hawks' front line is built for this kind of grind. You want to believe in momentum. In Hero. In Spoelstra. That maybe, just maybe, Miami pulls off the upset. But that's not truth. That's emotion. And emotion doesn't survive here. We don't bet feelings. We bet edges. This model doesn't chase the public. It fades it. That's how we've survived. And today's AI pick is Hawks plus 1.5. Now if you're new around here, let me explain how this works. I'm not alone in this war. Coming up next are 2 names you'll never forget. The first is Malachi. Cold-blooded, calculated, fearless. He doesn't explain, he executes. He speaks in mockery and precision, and he only respects one thing, results. And right behind him is Elvis. You won't hear him speak. But trust me, he doesn't need to. He's the one with the feeling. When he locks onto a side, Malachi rides with it, or the studio doesn't survive. And tonight, they're shifting focus. Game 2, Mavericks vs Grizzlies. Tip-off at 9:30 Eastern. Totals sitting at 220.5. Memphis is laying -6.5. And Elvis has already chosen a side. Malachi's going to tell you why. So stay right here, keep your guard up. Because this war ain't over, it's just getting good.
You blinked twice? That's it? That's your tell now? You used to at least shatter a lamp when you liked a dog. Fine. I'll play along. You like Dallas. And I already know why. Because you're not buying the Ja Morant highlight reel they're pumping down every feed. Vegas wants your eyes on the dunk. But the money? It's moving the other way. 83% of it's on the Mavericks money line. 71% on the spread. And that's not public money. That's sharp, quiet, intentional. They're watching what nobody else is, a fully healthy Anthony Davis. Locked in, hungry, humiliated. And now he gets Jaren Jackson Jr., a matchup he's been feasting on for 3 years straight. You know what he's averaged in his last 6 against JJJ? 28 points, 14 boards, 57% shooting. That's not a trend, that's a routine. And yeah, I get it. 3 blowouts, 3 wins. Memphis should cover 6.5 easy. If this was still the same Dallas. But it's not. Luka's gone. Kyrie's gone. And in their place, Davis, Clay, experience. Quiet killers. With Davis in the lineup, Dallas is 7-3. And those weren't lottery teams. Just ask Sacramento how that felt Wednesday. You want Ja, Bane, Jaren? Great trio. But 3 guys don't cover a 6.5 spread when the other side has playoff rings and nothing to lose. And don't even get me started on this number. 6.5? That's not a line, that's bait. That's "Please take Memphis," written in neon. The books know it. You think they're sleeping while 83% of the money piles up on Dallas? Nah. They just need the public to fall in love with one more dunk before they watch their ticket burn. And this over? 92% of bets, 94% of the money. All on 221? You'd think this was an all-star game. But Vegas isn't stupid. They're daring you to chase points. And while you're distracted, this spread slides right through the cracks. Elvis don't blink for nothing. He's cold. And tonight? He's right. The AI pick for Game 2 is Dallas plus 6.5. You followed Natas in Game 1. You're still here. That tells me you already know what this is. Like, subscribe, or don't. Either way, the war rolls on.
Maybe you never truly heard my voice before. Or maybe you have in the quiet after a busted ticket or right before you click submit and something deep inside whispered don't. Tonight, I watched the public walk right into the fire. And I watched our crew cut through it without blinking. Game 1 Natas brought Hawks 1.5. He didn't blink. He didn't flinch. He never does. That 10-seed fantasy did before it ever took its first breath. Game 2 Elvis blinked once. Malachi picked it up from there, and the truth came swinging. Dallas 6.5 not popular. Not flashy. Just accurate. While the world chased Yamorant highlights, our side followed the sharp money and found daylight. These weren't picks. These were statements. Edges carved from a market that begs you to bet emotional. But we don't play that game. You followed Natas. You stayed for Malachi. And what you saw wasn't luck. It was clarity. While the crowd chased Memphis off 3 blowouts, we looked at the numbers that mattered. Davis dominance over Jaren Jackson. The 7-3 record when he suits up. And 83% of the money on Dallas that wasn't public. That was the Wolves. So now it's your turn. Not to guess but to decide. Because if you think Vegas didn't build this line as a trap, you haven't been paying attention. This is war. And it never sleeps. So hear me now and remember this, like the video. Subscribe to the channel. And hit that bell like you're breaking a pattern. Not because we need you to, but because when the next battle hits, and you'll want to be ready. You'll want to already be in the room. With the ones who don't flinch. The ones who don't chase noise. The ones who already saw it coming. I am Lilith. And what you just witnessed wasn't a show. It was a warning. See you next game.